If your adjuster mentions sending in a sample of roofing or siding for testing, they're likely talking about something like an ITEL report. But before you assume your roof or siding is repairable or has a match that's close enough, let's break it down and talk about what this test really does and things that it doesn't. So part one, what is the ITEL process? ITEL stands for Independent Testing Evaluation Lab, and it's a process insurance companies use to help identify damaged building materials like roofing, shingles, or siding. So here's how it works. For roofs, a contractor removes a full shingle from your roof, and it's not just a piece, it's a full intact shingle, and that needs to be sent in to the ITEL lab, and it does not come back. So it's removed from an area generally that's less noticeable. For siding, usually a 1-foot section is cut off or taken from your home, and again, that's not returned. Some insurance adjusters use mobile apps. Most of the contractors you're going to meet with, they use mail. So they take the sample, put it in the package, and then mail it out to ITEL for testing. And they will check for the shingle dimensions, thickness, granule color, and the exposure. Part two is, what does ITEL actually tell the insurance company? So once ITEL receives your sample, their lab tries to do three things. They try to identify the brand and the product line, identify the color, and determine whether it's discontinued or if it's still in production. If the original product is no longer available or discontinued, they may recommend a comparable option. That's where most homeowners get confused, because comparable doesn't really mean that it actually matches, and it definitely doesn't mean that the roof is repairable. That leads us to part three, real-world limits of ITEL reports. So here's where the homeowners need to be cautious. So even if ITEL finds a product with the same brand and color, there are big limitations to what the report actually tells you. So one of the things to look out for is there's no mechanical fit testing. ITEL never checks how the product performs side by side on your roof. It may not match in thickness, length, or nailing pattern. There's also no real color match verification. Even if the color is technically the same, your roof has aged. Sun exposure, algae, and orientation all affect exactly how it looks today. A new shingle almost never blends in perfectly. Next is availability and accessibility. ITEL may say that it's still being available, but if it's back ordered for weeks or only available out of state or only available in small quantities, which may not match the lot number or the batch number, that's actually not realistic for repairs. Last is there's no performance testing. They don't do tests on what happens when we try to remove and replace the shingle. If that repair causes surrounding shingles to crease, tear, delaminate, your roof becomes a patchwork and a risk, meaning that your roof is in worse shape after the repair than prior to the repairs being completed. So here's what we do instead. At Foremost Exteriors, we take those ITEL reports into account, but we don't stop there. When appropriate, we perform a real-world repairability test following the industry standards and best practices. We document this, and if surrounding shingles crack, loose granules are coming, creasing happens, or they're not sealing down anymore correctly, we take video and photo evidence showing why the system isn't safely repairable. We review all results with you and, if needed, with your adjuster. And honestly, this is about getting more money. It's about making sure that the work is done right and your home stays protected long-term. So if you're going through this process at the moment, or you're about to go through this process with an insurance claim, give us a call at 952-495-5545 for more information, or if you would like our assistance on your claim.